Welcome and thank you for listening. I am Keith, the founder of Short-Term Rentals Asia, and to me, STRA has always meant giving this industry in Asia the visibility it deserves. For the wider sector, STRA is not just an event. It's a platform for the industry, where partners can support the 4 pillars, get involved, and help move professional short-term rentals in Asia forward. Bali, Phuket, Tokyo, and Goa weren't variations of one playbook. Each one ran on its own mix of demand, regulation, staffing, and owner expectations, even when global conversations flattened them into a single Asian market. So the story people told about Asia often drifted away from reality. On the ground, operators were building businesses shaped by local constraints and local ambition, not by the tidy regional label outsiders kept repeating. Some founders weren't testing a tiny idea. They were already running hundreds, sometimes thousands of properties, which tells you the leadership bench was already there. And while sophisticated hospitality businesses kept growing, what they learned stayed trapped inside local markets, separated by geography, language, and different commercial worlds. STRA was built to change that. Not by creating a single moment in the calendar, but by building a platform where operators, founders, technology partners, investors, and hospitality leaders can support the 4 pillars and get involved on Asia's terms. Gather, Connect, Grow is one activation point in that platform. It is not the whole of STRA. The bigger mission is to make space for Asia's operating realities to be seen, heard, and understood in their own voice. In Bangkok, Gather, Connect, Grow made something obvious. The room people had been looking for wasn't missing at all. It was already here, and it was already full of momentum. What stood out in that room was who was shaping the conversation. Operators, founders, and partners from across Asia were speaking from lived experience, not filtering everything through assumptions imported from somewhere else. That event didn't suddenly create a professional short-term rental sector in Asia. It revealed one that had already been operating with real depth, discipline, and scale. And that mattered because the conversation finally started sounding like the people doing the work every day, instead of forcing Asian operators into someone else's template. The visibility didn't end when the room emptied. STRA kept it alive through the knowledge hub, operator mapping, market intelligence, and partner participation across the 4 pillars, so people could keep seeing who was building, where momentum was forming, and how the region was evolving beyond one event. That's why Gather, Connect, Grow still matters. It's an important activation point within the wider platform, where knowledge and experience keep moving across the region instead of disappearing as soon as the event ends. STRA was never meant to be a pedestal, and it was never meant to be just one event on the calendar. It's a platform built from inside the region where partners can support the 4 pillars and contribute in ways that genuinely strengthen the industry. Gather, Connect, Grow is one activation point within that broader platform. The bigger goal is helping Asia's short-term rental sector see itself more clearly and be seen more clearly by others. Once a sector becomes visible, people can finally read it properly. They can see how it works, trust the people running it, and support it with far more confidence. So the job now isn't to prove Asia can do this. It's to make that professionalism legible at scale so the region gets recognized for the standard it has already built. What changes in a room like that is the hierarchy. Operators, partners, and leaders are there as peers, and the conversation carries more weight because it's coming from people who've actually done the work. And the tone stays close to how businesses across Asia really operate, with the local realities, trade-offs, and rhythms that imported shorthand usually misses. What starts to change here is that knowledge stops living in isolated pockets. Insights from one market can connect to another, so experience becomes something the whole region can build on. And as those connections strengthen, Asia's short-term rental sector starts to sound like itself. The language becomes more grounded, more local, and far more recognizable to the people actually doing the work. What this platform offers is a shared place to contribute, compare, and learn across markets, without sanding off the local realities that make Bali different from Tokyo, or Phuket different from Goa. That makes Asia more legible to itself first, and then to the wider world, because the region starts to be seen through its own evidence, its own language, and its own standards. From my perspective as founder, the gap was never capability. It was visibility. STRA exists to help Asia's professional short-term rental sector become more visible to itself and to the wider world, while giving partners a meaningful way to support the 4 pillars and participate in the platform. If that mission resonates with you, visit the partner page and see how you can get involved.